record? We're recording. Welcome. Happy Monday. I think it's Monday. Monday. Yes, Monday. Okay. Wouldn't want to appear foolish and say the wrong day. It's not entirely true. I don't mind. I kind of enjoy playing the fool a little bit. All right. So let's get started. Let's do something totally new. Totally, absolutely new. How about that? I'm playing with you a little bit. Of course we're doing something new because it's new. It's always new. So let's find newness in the structure. How about that? So let's be here. Let's choose a posture. And so today we're going to take a little bit of time to be with the breath, as we often do, but let's see if we can really allow this to be fresh and new today. Let's see if we can really allow for this to be a conscious experience of a miracle. How about that? Isn't it true? Don't you kind of fall into these habits of just like, yeah, there's no miracles. It's always it's gonna be the same. Today will be like yesterday, which was like the day before that. But let's brush away the cynicism and let's welcome a miracle, because there are miracles happening. Why not for us? So choose a posture that in which you have confidence that you can breathe and be breathed, so that you can actually experience the miracle of a natural breath, a satisfying breath, a breath that actually vitalizes you. How about that? A vital breath. So what is a vital breath? Suppose there are lots of variations on a vital breath. But one thing I can say for sure is that a vital breath is a breath that is gifted to us, not one that we achieve through our self-effort. Because if we have to achieve it through our self-effort, we're going to, at some point, we'll grow tired. And then we'll lose it. And then we won't be vitalized. But if we want to really be vitalized, how about all the time? Could you accept that as a possibility, that you could actually, I know that might be a bit of a reach. Seems like, oh no, that doesn't seem possible. Too big of a leap. But yeah, I'm just asking that you open to that as a possibility. And then we'll see what happens. The miracles happen in so many ways. It doesn't have to happen the way that you think. It doesn't have to be like the Hollywood movie version, where in 90 minutes we wrap it up and it's happily ever after. And it doesn't have to be like that. But let's start by setting ourselves up for success by choosing a posture where we can be open to that possibility of actually receiving a vital breath, where our entire being is infused with healing life. So what does that mean for you? You know, that's the thing. That's where this is an edge. That's why it has to be alive. It can't be what you did last week or what you did 5 minutes ago or what you read in a book or what you think the answer is. It has to be something that you're present to now, something that I'm present to now. So can we be honest about that? So I'll give you a couple of pointers, okay? So this maybe will help, because I don't want you to get locked into something. You don't have to get locked into anything. I don't want you to get locked into this idea, oh, I chose this posture, now I gotta do it the whole time. It's not like that. Okay, but so you're free to make adjustments if necessary. So let me give you some clues from the beginning so that maybe you can choose wisely. Okay. So if you're experiencing any strain, then the question is, it's not a problem. But the question is, do you have reasonable confidence that you're going to be able to release the strain within this posture? So if I was standing on my head, I would probably not be able, I would not have confidence that I would be able to release the strain. For me, sitting upright is it's the edge, okay? Because there's some strain, but through the exploration, through being present to the experience, I have reasonable confidence that I'm going to be able to release that strain, or at least a good portion of it, so that I can be opened to greater flow, ease, receptivity. Okay. So if it's comfortable for you, close the eyes. If it's not comfortable for you, you certainly don't need to. But it's one less thing to be concerned about. If we close the eyes, then we've got less coming in. So then we are more easily able to bring the attention to this somatic experience. So feel what is under you. Be aware of your contact with the surface that you're on, whatever your orientation is. And start to notice the breath. Just wherever your starting point is, don't try and change it, just be aware of it. And start to notice if you are able to sense the breath in relationship to the contact of the surface that you're on. So as you're inhaling and exhaling, do you sense any change in the sensation? So the surface that you're on is one manifestation of support. And goodness knows we all need support. We need to know that there's something that can receive us, carry us, hold us, because this is a challenging life. So we need to have that support and we need to recognize it. So even though it can seem like a pointless or useless or not so exciting activity to be noticing the support, actually it's really powerful, because when we recognize the support, we know that we can count on that. And we can start to develop a relationship with that support that is really alive, vibrant, so that we can start to recognize that actually this reality that we inhabit is, we could call it ensouled. It has a soul. It's alive. We exist in relationship to it, and we can relate to it as we would relate to another person. So be aware of that which you are resting on, and be aware of how that relationship manifests through the breath, so that you can start to sense these pulsations of relationship with this support that you're resting on. And if that's not clear, then just notice that as you inhale, that there's an increase in pressure inside. And what do you do habitually when there's an increase in pressure? Do you contract more? Do you strain more? Do you tense up, or do you release and relax into the support? I would invite you to explore the latter. So as you inhale, notice that you can release even more into the support, so that you can trust through your direct experience that this support has you, that you don't have to work against it. Let it receive you as you are breathed. So as you expand, let it receive you, let it support you, let it offer this gentle resistance, so that it gives you direction in life. If there's no resistance, then we have no direction. We don't have any way to move in this world, in this life. So having this support manifests both as a receptivity that can hold us and receive us, and also as that which gives us, it's like a springboard that gives us direction, so that we can move in this life. So as I said, the surface that you're on is one manifestation of the support that's here. And of course, that surface that you're on ultimately is a extension of the earth. So you can start to notice that that support goes all the way down into the earth. So as you inhale and you're expanded and there's an increase in pressure, you can release downward into the earth. all the way down, so you can start to sense that connection to the earth through the surface that you're on. And as you exhale, start to notice that you can continue to trust in that support so that you don't need to re-engage the habits of unnecessary tension. You can continue to trust in this support. So for a few more breaths, allow each inhalation to accentuate your awareness of that support so that you can release consciously, releasing the unnecessary tension and effort. If you're sitting, then hopefully it's clear I'm talking about. You notice the buttocks, the perineum, and you can release that. You should feel there's actually a palpable release. You can really feel it. And then as you exhale, allow for that release to be sustained so that you don't re-engage the old habits of unnecessary tension. And of course, if you're like me, then it will be surprising that almost inevitably some of those habits re-engage even without trying, even while trying not to, they re-engage. But that's part of the beauty of the breath, is that it's a cycle that repeats. So each inhalation helps to bring awareness to those habits of unnecessary tension, allowing for a deeper release. And then each exhalation is another opportunity to continue to remain aware. So bit by bit, hopefully you find that you're able to be more and more receptive to the support so that you're more in contact. More of your body is in contact more of the time. And of course, the more of your body that's in contact, the more of the support you are receiving, which means the less you have to do. So less self-effort, more receptivity to the support of that which is greater than you. Next, let's expand upon that by starting to become aware of how that support manifests in the body. And of course, it manifests many ways, but I'll draw your attention in particular here to the, let's call it the elasticity of the outer body. So by outer body, I'm talking about the skin and the subcutaneous layers, the lymphatic and the connective tissue layers, and then the superficial muscular layers. So everything on the periphery of the body. So not the inner organs, but everything on the outer part of the body. And notice that it's elastic. Maybe it doesn't seem that way at first because we hold it so tightly, but notice that it actually provides support, much like the surface that you're on provides this support that you can release into, that you can trust that it will hold you and support the breath, support that pressure that increases as you inhale. In the same way, You can let the outer body and its elasticity be a support so that as that pressure increases with the inhalation, you can release even more into the outer body, trusting that it will hold that. So be aware, in particular, be aware of the abdomen and chest. So you can notice habits of unnecessary tension, numbness, holding, restriction, where you are in the habit of trying to do this, trying to manage the breath, trying to manage your experience. And notice that as there's an increase in pressure, so as you're inhaling, it highlights, if you allow it, it highlights in your awareness where you're gripping. So if you breathe too much or too little, it makes it harder to really find this and trust this process. But if you start to really allow the breath to happen without your control, so you're aware, you're present, but mostly you're present to your habits of unnecessary effort and tension, and you start to consciously release bit by bit those unnecessary habits, then you start to find that the breath is happening without you doing it. So your habits of breathing start to become highlighted. You'll notice where you are in the habit of straining either on the inhalation or the exhalation, maybe both. And you can start to let that relax so that you're just being breathed, letting the breath become more and more natural and satisfying and complete without any strain. And do be aware that this is a very powerful exploration that highlights all of the habits that up to now have been unconscious. So don't be overwhelmed by it. It can be a lot to start to become aware of all the ways in which you hold this unnecessary tension. And maybe you start to realize you don't even know how to be in your body in a good way because you're so in the habit of doing it in this strenuous, uncomfortable way. So to be open to so much freedom can be a bit stressful, which is again why we need the support. We need to know that the support is here, that we can trust the support, that we're held. So be gentle and just be aware and trust in the process. Let the face be soft and let the tongue be soft. Let the tongue relax in the bottom of the lower jaw. And maybe you realize you don't even know how to do that. So there are so many layers of unnecessary effort that we are in the habit of making. And You just be attentive to whatever you can be to the very best of your ability, and know that miracles are happening. Let the chest start to be more relaxed so that you're not squeezing so much. And be aware also of the lower back. So a lot of people hold so much tension in the lower back. Of course, they're also holding so much tension in the abdomen, so it's happening from both sides. But we hold so much tension that most of the time we don't even have awareness, that we don't even realize that we actually can voluntarily release that. But you've cultivated this awareness now, so you can bit by bit start to release and soften just through your intention, through your awareness. You can just begin to soften. Just notice how you're gripping, where you're gripping, and just soften, release. Don't do it by moving or adjusting. Don't try and get it right. Don't try and get the right posture. Just forget about all of that. You might think you're all bent over and crooked, and you don't even be concerned about how you appear or whether you're getting it right. Just be only interested in being aware, attentive of the breath, allowing the breath and releasing whatever unnecessary tension or effort you become aware of through this process. So hopefully you find that your body is being reshaped. And just let that happen. It's okay not to know the right way. Just trust in the natural intelligence. Let the throat be soft. And then let's do something actually that will be a little different today. So let's bring our awareness to the inner body. So, to the best of your ability, continue to allow this natural, gentle breath to encourage ongoing relaxation. So, we don't want to lose that, but see if we can maintain that and then bring awareness to the inner body. So just be aware that you have this inside. And I'll bring your awareness to your abdomen. So you can notice that there's your abdomen is bounded. There's the front side. You can be aware of the belly button. There's the back side. You can be aware of the spine. Of course, there's a right side and a left side. So you can be aware of those sides. You can be aware of the bottom or the base of the abdomen, which is bound by the pelvic floor. And then I want you to just, with your awareness, imagine traveling to the center of your abdomen, wherever that is for you, whatever that means for you in this moment. It's just an exploration. So imagine traveling there. Can you perceive, get a sense of the center of your abdomen? And can you allow that center of your abdomen to relax? So you're, with your intention and your awareness, you are at the center inwardly of your abdomen, and you're allowing this to relax on the inside of your abdomen. You can allow yourself to become aware of the spaciousness there. And next, let's explore the chest. So bring your awareness to your chest. And notice that your chest is also bound. It's bound by the ribs. You can notice that on the front of the chest, the ribs come together at the breastbone. And they wrap around. So there's a right side and a left side, and they wrap all the way around to the back where they come together at the spine. So you can be aware of the spine at the back of the chest. So you're aware of the spine at the back and the ribs that wrap around the right side and the left side, and they come around the front and they meet at the front at the breastbone. So you have this awareness of the shape and location, the dimensions of your chest. Notice also that your arms are hanging or resting, presumably, at the sides of your chest. So have the awareness of the relationship of your arms to your chest so that you can have a greater awareness of your chest. And at the top of the chest are the collarbones. So have awareness of all of that. And then bring your awareness to the center of the chest, right at the center of the inside of the chest. Don't worry about getting it right or finding exactly the right location. It's just for you in this moment, whatever that is, just find that. Maybe you notice that just having that awareness, just that exploration, changes something subtly or maybe even not so subtly in your posture. Maybe you experience just with that exploration a greater alignment or buoyancy. And gently remain aware of that point at the center of your chest and allow that to relax and release so that you can be aware of the spaciousness inside the chest. And see if you can be aware of the center of your abdomen and the center of your chest at the same time. Be aware of both being relaxed and the spaciousness inside the abdomen and the spaciousness inside the chest and the space between the abdomen and the chest so that there's one space that you are aware of. And then bring your awareness to your head, to the skull. And notice that the skull has a front to it. You can be aware of the front of your skull. And a top, so you can be aware of the top of the skull. And it has a back, so you can be aware of the back of the skull. And of course, it has a right side and a left side, so you can be aware of the right side and the left side of the skull. So you're aware of the whole skull from front to the back and the right to the left and the top of the skull. And then bring your awareness to the center of the skull. So inside the skull, at the center of the skull, whatever that is for you right now, just trust that you are doing it correctly. And have awareness of the center of the skull, and then be aware that you can relax the center of the skull, and you can allow yourself to be aware of the spaciousness inside the skull. And then you can be aware of the center of the abdomen and the spaciousness of the abdomen. You can be aware of the center of the chest, the spaciousness in the chest. You can be aware of the one space of the abdomen and the chest all the way up through the throat and the center of the head and the spaciousness in the head. All is one space. So there's one space all the way from the abdomen through the chest, through the throat, into the head, all one space that you're aware of. As you are also allowing yourself to be breathed. And then become aware again of the support that you are resting on. Be aware of the relationship of your body and that support. Be aware of the relationship of your inner body and your outer body. Allowing the outer body to be the support that you can trust in, so you can relax and release into that support. And let's take a few moments to offer blessings as we connect to the infinite abundance that is directly experienceable through our direct perception, we can recognize that it is here in support of us, that it is the flow and the life and the gift of our life that is always supporting us and carrying us, and that we can trust in that, trust in its infinite abundance, and we can share that through our being into this world, knowing that we are uplifted and supported ever more in sharing, so that we're never depleted, but we're always augmented. So first we can bless our inner bodies, bless your organs, your bones, your marrow, bless your muscles and your circulatory system, your lymphatic system, your nerves, bless your thoughts, your emotions, your sensations, bless your memories, bless your skin, and allow the blessings to radiate, to bless your loved ones, your home, any pets or other animals you may care for, any plants you may care for. Bless the wild animals and the wild plants. Bless the water and the air and the rocks and minerals. Bless your neighborhood. Bless this earth and all of her inhabitants. Bless this entire universe and beyond. Bless all beings everywhere, so that all beings may know peace and all beings may know love, so that all may know their gifts and share their gifts and live in harmony. And again, become aware of your physical body. One more time, bless your body. And we'll gently scan from head to toe, so be aware of the top of the head, the forehead, the eyes, the back of the head, the ears, the tongue, the throat, the neck, the shoulders, the upper arms, the elbows, the lower arms, the hands and fingers and palms. Be aware of the chest and the upper back. Be aware of the abdomen and the lower back. Be aware of the base of the pelvis, the buttocks, the thighs, the knees, the lower legs, the tops of the feet, the toes and the soles of the feet, the heels and the ankles. Be aware of the entire body from head to toe. Be aware of the room that you're in. Gently move your fingers. And take your time before you open your eyes, assuming your eyes have been closed, to really allow for this to be a gentle transition, so that you can have a smooth transition from your inner awareness to the outer awareness. So in a moment, I'll end the recording as usual. Just say a few words, primarily for the benefit of those who watch the recording, but it's a helpful reminder for all of us that whatever happens in your life, know that it is for good, and it is part of the healing process. So these explorations really help to cultivate so much, we could call it positive energy. And uh, then we need to be able to hold that, or else we don't really get the full benefit of it. And a big part of that is to know that whatever happens is for good and that it's part of the healing process, because if we forget that, then our tendency will be to dissipate the energy through our usual habits of unnecessary stress, anxiety, tension, worry, fear, frustration, and so forth, because we just so quickly go back into the old modes of perception, and we forget that the outer world, the outer experience is actually a projection that is being projected through the lens of our perception, and our perception is shaped by our habits and beliefs. And those habits and beliefs are maintained through indulgence of those habits and beliefs unquestioningly. So here what we do is we rewrite a lot of that, loosen up a lot of stuff. And so it's very, we could say it's cleansing. But then we have to let that flow and not be so quick to latch on to the old habits, because if we do, then we just walk back into the old way. So when we are releasing those old habits, the old modes of perception, the old beliefs, part of that is we have to be witness to it. So as we are going through the day, you'll be witness. And just be witness to it. And don't be concerned or worried about it. And that's why, again, it's so important just to come back to whatever happens as part of the healing process. It is for good, even though your mind and my mind, they won't know how that's possible, because our minds are only, when we use the term mind, it's just a shorthand to say the collection of impressions, habits, beliefs. So all that the mind can do is just view through the old way, through those habits and beliefs. But what we've done here is we've loosened things up. Now there's a greater distinction. There's an awareness of that awareness can continue to be aware without indulging the habits. And so then the process continues, and there's a expansion of our ability to hold that positive energy. There's a greater stability that comes. There's a greater alignment that starts to be more natural, rather than having to constantly be realigning. We just start to be in that alignment more and more and more, but it depends upon our willingness to allow that to happen. Because, you know, if we take an hour to do this, but then for the other 23 hours of the day, we're indulging the old habits, what's going to win out? The old habits. So we take an hour, it's really powerful, and then just trust that whatever happens, don't be so quick to indulge the old judgments about it. Don't be so quick to blame yourself or blame anyone. Blame doesn't really apply. It's not, blame presupposes that there's something that shouldn't be happening. So just keep trusting. And I understand sometimes the experience can be intense. I mean, my hope with this and my intention is that this is very gentle. But, you know, if you've got we've all got a lot of violence stored up. So when that's cleansed, we're going to be witness to that. But just know that you're witness to it. You don't have to be, you are liberated from it. When you're witness to it, you are liberated from it. So just be witness to it and don't be concerned about it. You don't have to be concerned that if you're witness to the violence, that the violence is going to harm you. By being witness to it, it no longer has that power. So even though the imagination can certainly generate all kinds of things to freak out about, so useful just to keep coming back to, this is part of the healing process. This is for good. I took an hour today to cultivate this spaciousness and this positive energy, this faith, this trust, this stability, this groundedness. Now I trust in that. I trust that that carries me. I trust that I'm supported. I trust that this is part of the healing process, even though my mind doesn't know how that's possible. And of course, if you need any further support, you can always reach out. So I'm available. And that's it for now. I'm going to end this recording.